Hey Sam, it's been a while. How have you been?
Alex, I've been good, just the usual hustle and bustle. How about you?
Same here, just trying to juggle work and life. I've been daydreaming about taking a trip somewhere. It got me thinking, if you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. There are so many places on my list. But if I had to choose just one, I think I'd go with Japan. I've always been fascinated by the culture, the food, and the mix of tradition and modernity. Plus, cherry blossom season, that's like a dream come true.
Japan is amazing. The idea of seeing the cherry blossoms in full bloom sounds incredible. I'd love to visit Kyoto and explore all those ancient temples. The photos I've seen of the Arashiyama bamboo grove look so surreal, like stepping into another world.
Yes, Kyoto is definitely on my list too. I've read so much about the tea ceremonies and the history behind them. It would be so cool to experience that firsthand. And don't even get me started on the food. I could probably eat sushi every day and never get tired of it.
Same here. And ramen, oh my god. I've heard that the ramen shops in Japan are like no other. They put so much care into the broth and ingredients. We'd probably have to try every kind of ramen we could find. But speaking of food, I think Italy is another place high on my list. Imagine sitting in a little cafe in Rome, eating gelato and people watching.
Italy is definitely up there for me too. The food, the art, the history, it's all so rich. I'd love to do a road trip through Tuscany, just driving from one beautiful village to another, eating pasta and drinking wine. And Venice, I know it's touristy, but I really want to see the canals in person. It just seems so romantic.
Venice would be so cool to see. I know it's cliche, but taking a gondola ride through the canals sounds like such a fun experience. And I've always wanted to visit Florence too. The art there is just unbelievable. The Uffizi Gallery, Michelangelo's David. It's like stepping into a different time.
Oh, Florence would be incredible. I'm a sucker for Renaissance art, so I'd probably spend days just wandering through museums. And the architecture, the Duomo is so iconic. I can't imagine what it must be like to see it in person.
I feel like everywhere you turn in Florence, there's something historic or beautiful to see. But you know what else I'd love to do? A trip to the Greek islands. Those whitewashed buildings with blue domes set against the deep blue sea. It's like something out of a postcard.
Greece is definitely on my list too. The islands look so idyllic. I'd love to just relax on a beach in Santorini, watching the sunset with a glass of wine in hand. And the ancient ruins in Athens, imagine standing where so much of Western history was shaped. It must feel so surreal.
That's what I love about travel. You get to connect with history in such a tangible way. Walking through ancient sites, you can almost feel the presence of the people who were there before you. I've always wanted to visit Egypt for that reason. Seeing the pyramids up close, exploring the Valley of the Kings, it's like stepping back in time thousands of years.
Egypt would be incredible. The pyramids are one of those things that I feel like everyone should see in their lifetime. And the Sphinx too. I've always been fascinated by ancient Egyptian history. Their art, their gods, how advanced they were. And cruising down the Nile, that sounds like such an adventure.
Definitely. There's something so mysterious and awe-inspiring about ancient Egypt. I feel like I just stand there, staring up at the pyramids, trying to wrap my mind around how they were even built. And speaking of ancient wonders, I've always been curious about Machu Picchu in Peru. The idea of hiking up through the mountains to this ancient city hidden in the clouds. It's like something out of a fantasy novel.
Machu Picchu is on my list too. The Incan civilization is so fascinating, and the fact that Machu Picchu was hidden for so long just adds to its mystique. I'd love to do the Inca Trail, even though it's a bit of a challenge. I can't imagine how rewarding it must feel to reach the top and see that view after days of hiking.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but one that's totally worth it. And the scenery along the way is supposed to be breathtaking too. You're hiking through these incredible landscapes, and then you're rewarded with this ancient city at the end. It's the kind of experience that stays with you forever.
Absolutely. I think that's what I love most about travel. Those unforgettable experiences that change how you see the world. It's like each trip leaves a little mark on you, adding to who you are. I can't wait to start checking more places off my list.
Same here. The world is so big and full of incredible places. It's exciting to think about all the adventures that still await us. Here's to making those travel dreams a reality someday.
You know, thinking about all these places makes me realize how much there is to learn from different cultures. Like, imagine spending a few months in a place and really getting to know the people, their traditions, their way of life. It's something you can't really get from a short vacation.
That's so true. There's something special about slow travel, immersing yourself in a place rather than just ticking off tourist spots. I've always wanted to do something like that in a place like Bali or Thailand. The idea of living in a small village, maybe learning a bit of the language, participating in local festivals, it's a whole different way of experiencing a country.
I love that idea. Bali, with its spirituality and beautiful landscapes, seems like the perfect place to slow down and connect with the culture. And Thailand, I've heard that the people are incredibly welcoming, and the food is just out of this world. Plus, I'd love to learn about the Buddhist traditions there.
Exactly. And it's not just about the sights, but also the people you meet along the way. I've heard so many stories from travelers about how the locals they've met have completely transformed their experience. Like, in Morocco, people say that the hospitality is amazing. You can be invited into someone's home for tea, and suddenly you're part of their family.
That's one of the most beautiful things about travel, those unexpected connections. Morocco sounds amazing too, with its vibrant markets and incredible landscapes. I'd love to wander through the souks, getting lost in the colors and smells. And the desert, spending a night in the Sahara under the stars, sounds like a magical experience.
Oh, absolutely. The idea of riding camels across the sand dunes and then camping out in the middle of the desert, it's the kind of adventure you never forget. And the night sky must be breathtaking, with no city lights around to dim the stars.
It's like a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And that's what travel should be about, right? Creating memories that stay with you forever, that you can look back on and smile about years later.
Exactly. It's those memories that make life richer. Whether it's a quiet moment watching a sunset in Santorini, or the thrill of exploring a new city, it's all part of the journey. Here's to making those dreams happen one day.
Here's to that. We should start planning some of these trips for real. Even if it's just one at a time, it's worth making it happen.
Definitely. Let's keep this conversation going and figure out where we're heading next. The world is waiting.
Hey, Sarah. It feels like it's been ages since we last caught up. How have you been?
Hi, Emily. I know, right? Time flies so quickly. I've been good, just trying to stay on top of everything. How about you?
Same here. It's been a whirlwind, but I've been thinking a lot lately about my life goals and what I really want to achieve. I feel like there's so much I want to do, but sometimes it's hard to figure out where to start.
I know exactly what you mean. I've been feeling the same way. There's this constant push and pull between what I want to do and what I feel like I should be doing. It can be overwhelming sometimes. What's been on your mind lately?
Well, I've been thinking a lot about my career, and whether I'm really on the right path. I enjoy what I do, but I keep wondering if there's something more out there for me. Like, I want to make a bigger impact, you know? I've been considering going back to school to specialize in something more aligned with my passions.
That's a big decision, but it's so important to follow your passions. Do you have an idea of what you might want to study?
I'm leaning towards environmental science. I've always cared about sustainability and the environment, but I never really pursued it seriously. With everything going on in the world, I feel like it's more important than ever to contribute to something meaningful. But, of course, there's the whole aspect of balancing it with everything else in my life.
That's amazing, Emily. Environmental science is such a critical field right now, and I can totally see you making a difference there. It's definitely a big change, but sometimes those are the best decisions we make. How do you feel about the idea of going back to school?
Honestly, it's a mix of excitement and anxiety. The thought of diving into something new is thrilling, but at the same time, I worry about whether I can manage it all. The financial aspect, the time commitment, and just the fear of stepping out of my comfort zone. But I keep reminding myself that growth happens outside of comfort zones, right?
Absolutely. It's natural to feel nervous about such a big change, but it sounds like your heart is in the right place. If it's something you're passionate about, you'll find a way to make it work. And who knows, it could open up so many new opportunities for you. Have you thought about what kind of impact you want to make in that field?
I'd love to work on projects that promote sustainable living, maybe even something related to community education about environmental issues. I think a lot of people want to help the planet but don't always know how to start. If I could play a role in guiding and inspiring others to make eco-friendly choices, that would feel incredibly fulfilling.
That sounds like such a rewarding path. I can really see you thriving in that space, using your talents to inspire others. And you're right, a lot of people want to make a difference but don't know where to begin. You could be the person who lights that spark for them.
Thanks, Sarah. I appreciate that. But enough about me, what about you? What's been on your mind when it comes to your goals and aspirations?
Well, I've been thinking a lot about starting my own business. I've always had this dream of opening a wellness studio, a place where people can come to focus on their mental and physical well-being. I'm really passionate about holistic health, and I think there's such a need for spaces that offer both community and personal growth.
That sounds incredible, Sarah. I know how much you love wellness and holistic living. A studio like that would be such a positive addition to any community. What kind of services or programs are you thinking of offering?
I'm envisioning a mix of yoga and meditation classes, nutritional workshops, and maybe even some art therapy sessions. I want it to be a place where people can explore different ways to take care of themselves, whether it's through movement, mindfulness, or creativity. I also want to create a supportive community where people feel like they belong and can grow together.
That's such a beautiful vision. It sounds like you're creating a sanctuary where people can recharge and find balance in their lives. I can see it being a huge success, especially with your passion and dedication behind it. Have you started taking steps towards making it a reality?
I have, actually. I've been researching what it would take to start the business, things like finding a location, securing funding, and building a brand. It's a lot to think about, but I'm trying to take it one step at a time. I've also been connecting with other entrepreneurs in the wellness space to learn from their experiences and get some advice.
That's a smart approach, Sarah. It sounds like you're really setting yourself up for success. It must be so inspiring to hear from others who've been in your shoes and have built something amazing. What's been the most challenging part so far?
Honestly, I think the biggest challenge is overcoming my own self-doubt. It's easy to get caught up in thoughts like, what if it doesn't work out, or am I really capable of doing this? But I keep reminding myself that every successful entrepreneur started somewhere, and it's okay to have doubts as long as I don't let them hold me back.
That's so true. Self-doubt can be such a hurdle, but I think it's part of the process. You're taking on something new and ambitious, and it's natural to feel a bit unsure. But the fact that you're moving forward, despite those doubts, shows how strong and determined you are. I believe in you, Sarah. You've got this.
Thanks, Emily. That means a lot coming from you. I'm just trying to stay focused on the bigger picture and take it one day at a time. I think about all the people I could help through the studio, and that really motivates me to push through the challenges.
That's such a great mindset. And I can totally see your studio becoming a place where people not only improve their health but also build meaningful connections. You're creating something special, and that's worth every bit of effort.
I hope so. I really want it to be a place where people feel empowered to take control of their well-being, whatever that looks like for them. And speaking of empowerment, I've also been thinking about how I can continue my own personal growth through all of this. I want to make sure I'm taking care of myself, too, as I work towards these goals.
That's so important, Sarah. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget about self-care, especially when you're so passionate about what you're doing. But taking care of yourself will only make you stronger and more resilient in the long run. What are some ways you're planning to prioritize your own well-being?
I've been trying to make time for things that nourish me, like journaling, spending time in nature, and practicing yoga regularly. It's all about finding that balance, you know? I also want to continue learning and growing, so I'm looking into taking some courses or attending workshops on entrepreneurship and wellness. It's all part of the journey.
That sounds like a great plan. Keeping that balance will help you stay grounded as you navigate this exciting new chapter. And I think it's amazing that you're still committed to your own growth, even as you work to help others. It's a journey, like you said, and you're doing it with so much thought and care.
Thanks, Emily. I think that's the key, approaching it all with care and intention. And honestly, having these conversations with you is so helpful. It's nice to know we're both on this journey of figuring things out and chasing our dreams.
Absolutely. We're in this together, and it's so motivating to see how you're pursuing your goals. It makes me want to keep pushing forward with mine, too. We've got big dreams, and I believe we're going to make them happen.
Yes, we are. It's all about supporting each other and keeping that positive momentum going. I'm so grateful to have you as a friend, Emily. We've got this, whatever the future holds, we'll take it on with confidence.
I'm grateful for you too, Sarah. It's amazing to have someone who understands and encourages me. Here's to our future successes and all the adventures that come with them.
Cheers to that. Let's keep dreaming big and working hard. The sky's the limit, right?
Right. Here's to making our aspirations a reality, one step at a time. We've got this.
Thanks, Emily. Take care and talk soon. Bye for now.
Bye.